kom jeziku samo pričam?
Mislim da bi moglo engleski.
Na engleskom? Okay. I have pleasure to be here today after approximately 1 year of, let's say, work on this very interesting project. And I will present one of the outcome of this project, that it is District Energy Action Plan for next 20 years for the, of course, Belgrade district heating system. I'm very pleased to have opportunity to work in the last year with my colleagues from Enova, from Sarajevo, from RES Foundation, from Belgrade, Optit from Milan, or Bologna, I'm sorry. But anyway, I really enjoy in our joint work. And of course, I am very thanks to our colleagues from Beogradske elektrane, who really helped us a lot in conducting this job. And of course, Bojan is one of the person who be initially in this project and help before he changed his job, of course, a lot in starting this project. Of course, today I'm going to work about the document which is now in procedure. Last week we have presentation from the officials of Belgrade and others representatives of institutions which are included in this project. And so the idea is to make some plan how to develop the Belgrade district heating systems in next 10 to 20 years. Of course, we didn't start from the empty paper, from the scratch. We used very well, let's say, documentations which created in Beogradske elektrane, in the city of Belgrade, and probably the two most important papers which we used for creating this action plan were the development strategy of the Beogradske elektrane, which was created for the period until 2025, and of course the development strategy and the action plan of the city of Belgrade, which were both the documents were created in 2016 and 17. Our document is actually, let's say, the document which has 4 main chapters. We actually have in brief some main conclusions from Belgrade development strategy and the development strategy of the Beogradske elektrane. And then we make, let's say, some short-term action plan and something what we call a long-term action plan for, let's say, the first part is the development of the Belgrade district heating system until 2030, and the next chapter is, let's say, for the 10 years after that. The structure of short-term action plan is actually the stories about a few projects, and for each project we gave a short description, some conditions for its realization, some state of art, what is happened currently with that project, some expected results, and of course finance. We tackled financing issue. Main projects, actually I will give, let's say, a short intro to the all projects. The waste to energy CHP facility at Vinča, today we had opportunity to get some main information about this project. What is maybe, let's say, important, and it wasn't so precisely defined this morning, actually, that this heat source will be connected to Konjarnik heat power, and of course that it is expected that in 2022 that system will be in operation, and actually that will be the first huge, let's say, renewable capacity in Belgrade energy mix. In Belgrade they had experience with biomass, but actually it was smaller, significantly smaller capacity, but here we are speaking about more than 50 megawatts thermal from the renewable. Actually, probably the main project which is planned in Belgrade for for the next 10 years or even for shorter period is heat pipeline from thermal power plant Nikola Tesla to heat power Novi Belgrade. Actually, we are speaking about using heat from the thermal power plant, which is fueled by lignite in Belgrade district heating system. There was some question about the using of coal, and it is not popular, let's say, speaking about the coal now. But this is this is the project which which was constructed with the two main, let's say, ideas. One is to be independent and from Russian gas, and to have some security of supply, and another aspect is financial aspect. Of course, the last line here, it is red, and what should be done in the, let's say, next period is to do the analysis of influences of possible introduction of EU emission trading scheme and the influence of that to this project. Shutting down of selected heat sources is also something what Beogradske Elektrane actually did in the recent period, but also the Secretariat for Environmental Protection do a lot in that area. So in the near future, it is expected that the heat plant Zemun will be shut down. That is heat plant which currently use heavy fuel oil, and after the connection with the TEN-T, probably the heat plant Banovo Brdo will be shut down, but also some smaller boiler stations. Achieved effects from the activities which were realized before is approximately 500,000 tons of CO2 reductions, and of course the adequate reduction of other, let's say, pollutants. CHP in the Belgrade district heating system is also, let's say, something new. CHP in heat pump Voždovac will be on the grid next year. That is 10 plus 10 capacity, and of course that will be, let's say, a very good introduction probably in the similar project in the future. There are a few locations where this the similar facilities could be used, and what is important, of course, that those areas had using of heat during the whole season. I'm speaking about areas which have domestic hot water. About network interconnection, what is probably the main results of our activities you will be in. Here is Matteo from Optit, and he will present that pre-feasibility study in detail. And of course, the idea, but I will shortly say that the idea of interconnection started when this project from about using heat from thermal power plants started, because the capacity of those new heat sources is 600 megawatt of thermal energy, and of course during significant part of the heating season it is possible to use that capacity in other let's say networks, not only in Novi Beograd network. So the idea is to cover probably more than 60% of energy by that new heat source, and for that in network network interconnection is necessary. For those who are not familiar, just now Belgrade has 14 independent networks. Systematic replacement of heat pipelines is something what we take from the program from rehabilitation of distribution system of Beogradske elektrane. Of course, the idea is to replace at least 30 kilometers of route per year. That is, of course, the activity which must be done, taking into consideration the state of Belgrade network, the problems with water losses, and the goal is to reduce that losses by 20% in 2025. The long-term part of this document is something what we wanted to have in the near future, maybe even before than 2030, and that is some kind of transformation of Belgrade district heating system to the next generation. We had debate last week about where is Belgrade now, and I take from Romanas now very good idea that probably Belgrade is something like 2.5 district heating system. Probably that is the quite right answer. Somewhere between second and third generation, maybe closer to the third, but anyway, with the incineration plant, probably it will be in the third generation for sure. In that part of documents, we discussed about using of solar energy, geothermal energy, treated water from wastewater treatment facilities, expanding of network and building of new heat sources. With, of course, in introduction, we wanted to speak about one topic which is not actually closely connected just for the district heating systems, but that is the improvement of consumers' characteristic, or in other words, reduction of specific heat load. And of course, even in the morning session, we speak a lot about the ideas how to do it in Serbian towns, but also in Belgrade. There is a potential for using of all those kind of renewables. We heard a lot about the Danish experience, about experience from the north. Of course, there is a significant potential of using solar energy. Annual solar radiation at Belgrade is approximately about 1,300 kilowatt hours per square meters. Some locations which are possible are given here, and of course we will have the results in one of the next presentation will be concerning the using of solar energy. So I will not be here too much. I will not go in detail about this using solar energy. Similarly, about the geothermal energy, some studies show that the potential at the Belgrade metropolitan area are estimated to 2,300 megawatt of thermal capacity. There is some area, there is one band from Novi Beograd to Leštane Boleć. You know, there is where there is a significant potential of this resource. Of course, the further analyses are necessary. We should drill here. We should, because when you are speaking about geothermal, until you don't you are doing the drilling, you don't have real data and real numbers about the capacity. So there is a significant work to let's say define the real, as our colleague from Hungary said, sustainable potential of geothermal energy in Belgrade. Heat pumps is of course interesting theme, but here I'm speaking about using it in the wastewater treatment facilities. Actually, there are plans for the near future in Belgrade to construct these wastewater treatment facilities, and at least in the phase of the designing of that facilities, I think that it is valuable to consider their energy use, the use of that facility for energy purposes, and that is why we put it in this document. Of course, we stated very clearly that when we are speaking about using of renewables, these facilities should operate continuously during the whole heating season, and even better during the whole year if you have, let's say, domestic hot water consumption. It means that for the feasibility of the projects of renewables use, this source should be, let's say, considered as a base load, and of course integrally with other planned projects which are in planning phase. District cooling is something what is new and what can be discussed, let's say, seriously as a new, let's say, energy service which Beogradske Elektrane could provide, and especially because there is some, let's say, plans for the building of new settlements in Adahuja and Makiš, and some of those settlements are planned to be, let's say, something like luxury settlements. Let's say the district cooling could be, let's say, suggest in the very early stages of design for that project. Of course, in these documents we also analyze those new, let's say, areas for Belgrade expanding, and for Adahuja there are plans for new heat plant and CHP facility. For Makiško Polje still there is no, let's say, precise idea, but actually that area is optimal for using of low temperature source of energy for centralized heat distribution, of course based on the renewables. That was really short, let's say, presentation of action plan, and of course I am ready to give answers if it.
Thank you, Professor. Great presentation, but before I.